Hello, ladies and gentlemen of Sunshine Community. After a whopping 148 games over the entire season, months of competition, and ups and downs from all the players, we are here for the big one. The match that counts more than anyone else, more than anything else, I should say. It is the grand finals of Division 1. I am your host, Elias, and today with me in the commentary box is Larvi, who is very eager to tell you a lot about the intricacies of the matchup and some shade, apparently. But that's Larvi, obviously, that's gonna happen. Your turn.
Welcome, welcome. Yeah, this is actually a pretty interesting matchup. I don't think anyone really foresaw this when uh, going into playoffs because JJ was like fifth seed, had to play Danny, then I think was picked by Samu, then had to play Shell Mario, and all of these matchups were not even the easiest. Sure, like in the regular season, JJ was able to defeat Danny, but none of these matches were that like that easy for him. But after a 2-1 victory over Danny, um, with like the first game having lost to Danny, and then 2-0ing him in one day, then playing Samu 2-0ing, then playing SM 2-0ing. He had built up a lot of momentum, and he's actually looking pretty strong. And Rimato has had a double bye, so didn't play for like 3 weeks. 1 week break and then the 2 weeks of buys. Then had a 2-0, which was not the most dominant performance from Rimato. When we rewatched it back together, like Rimato agreed that he got
All right, so this is
out-routed.
insider information. This is insider information. Romano thinks he has not played well, and well, that is very interesting. He's always been the flying fin, the big goat, the person that never drops a game when it actually matters. I think he's lost one tournament since 2017, and it was in grand finals. So, um, the match is off.
Mhm.
Appears.
Yeah. Last week we've had the third place match for Division 1 and not the finals. Not just because Mason and Peaches couldn't play until this weekend and they wanted to synchronize all the finals for one weekend. It's mostly because Ramada wanted to take the wins out of JJ's sales since he had like this free best of threes win streak and had built up a lot of momentum.
All right, I want to clarify stuff in the chat because does 148 include every Bribe versus Jeff match? No, it's only that the actually matches that have been tabulated and for which we have a result that counts for league and league purposes. Because you can imagine now all 148 classified and actually counting for league purposes matches and have the same ring to it. And yes, Jeff Paper did win the regular lockout tournament. That is why I specified as won every tournament since 2017, but won, and even then he got to grand finals. So
Yeah, it's insane. Even if Ramada doesn't play as like precisely and he's not as strong as he used to be, he's still like the favorite in this match, of course. And JJ just has to have some of his JJ magic coming out. The kind of uncertainty, this kind of random routing, this like weird seeming decision making that's like completely risky because JJ like sets up for a lot of things and then just never completes them, doesn't give information to his opponent, and then like even though it's not necessarily the best play, it's kind of terrifying to play against. And Rimato, even he's finished, so he's probably pretty cool about this, but he can get thrown off by some of JJ's decisions, and I think that's the main counterplay for JJ for this best of three.
right, so I'm a man with experience in a lot of things. Well, let's just take a basketball analogy, right? Rimato is the calm point guard, the player that just arrives and no matter what, he can make. He knows the rule book. He knows like he's the tactician. He just gets there and no matter what, no matter how, if it counts, the ball's gonna go in that basket. And then this random kid shows up, JJ being just there, and he just pulls out magic with the ball at random, and he just goes in, and nobody knows how. Nobody knows how he does it. Nobody knows. People can do analysis, etc., but I think JJ is one of those players where you cannot simply be JJ 2.0, right? You could probably be like a Rimato 2.0 in the future, like this very super technical, hyper accurate player. But JJ is JJ. You don't make a 2.0 JJ, and that's what's so interesting about this matchup. You have this, you have law versus chaos in a way. This is a battle for the ages.
I do not think Rimato's play really qualifies as law. It's probably just blue coins and whenever he can do, and that's something to look out for. Row control is Rimato's probably best format, just because there are a lot of Rimato kind of plays that work pretty well. Pianta, blue coins, Pinanoki, that's like a really standard Rimato play. But JJ is aware of that, and if he sees a play that involves this Rimato kind of path, then I think he would try to contest this. And JJ is definitely fast enough and good enough at the game to be able to just contest Rimato in this, and thus this matchup becomes even more so much more interesting. And that was also the reason why Rimato didn't pick JJ in the semifinals and picked me
JJ
instead.
has the speed, and he has read the Rimato rulebook, right? It's seen like, oh, okay, Pianta Pinanoki, you know? Then he just slaps it down. I have all I need. I don't need a rulebook. And I think Ramato's going to have to do the same in a way to be able to counter JJ's counter. So it becomes a battle of mind games. So speaking of mind games in the card, we haven't talked about the card yet. We have 2 minutes. What do you see? Do you think the Rimato no key rush, quote unquote, TM play could work here?
Oh, there's definitely a lot of possibilities. The issue with this is that they might be a bit too risky to secure all of them. We have like row 4 that has hidden piantas, so kind of deep pianta related things. 11 in Delfino, 16 pinna. That's like pretty and yeah, I guess it's a backup. Pretty standard Rimato. There are some other rows that are not that good looking for that, but row 2 has Delfino Shines 150. Both of them work pretty well. Goldbirds, all of these look pretty well together, and then 50 totals just because it's for Rimato. Row 3 has Fruit Ladies, Pianta Shell Mario, Pinner Button. These are all also in this kind of Pianta Pinner blue coins kind of play. But the issue is that pinner button requires pinner free, and it's kind of not that. It's kind of deep into Pianta, actually. Free Fruit Ladies is a time sink, so and Pianta Shalmar is kind of safe if you can secure all the Pianta stuff. Then you look at row 5. That row 5 has like 2 of these Rimato goals. Well, row 1 doesn't have that much, hundreds in Rico, hundreds in the secret level. That's something to consider. Maybe Rico or Pianta in general is just generally strong on this card, because for row 1 you have a lot of level shines that are quick in Pianta. You have 2 hints in one level that are on this card, probably even Pianta, maybe also Rico. You have like a few Pianta goals in 3, 4, and 5, and then some kind of bosses, some kind of 3 from 4, just like the general Bianco Rico kind of play that is also possible. But then you have to secure a few good goals in the other lines. For instance, like Fruit Ladies is something that if you take that away from Rimato, then the Pianta pinner play doesn't work as well.
All right, so Rimato cannot just take it and take the ball, run away, 9-0 with a route that's safe. That's great, because it means that JJ's more unorthodox talents can shine. Like, we've talked about this Rimato play being a thing. Both players now opening Bianco. We know Rimato does not like Bianco. All right, so it's a well-known fact. And so this clearly means that at least there's no interest in the super early Pianta, which is again interesting. Probably Rimato expects JJ to have figured him out. Like JJ's done his homework in a way. I trust JJ to have done his homework, or even if he hasn't, to somehow make it look like he has. So that sounds like a very JJ thing. Do you think there's a JJ play? As in, like, do you think you can define something called that a JJ play
Uh, not really.
outside of drafting 5 goals in draft and then winning anyways, and without doing
Uh,
it a drafted goal?
a JJ play is more so like in the mid game rather. Uh, it's typically the setting up for everything and then doing one goal that you absolutely don't need to and kind of like kill your chances. But that was previous JJ. This JJ doesn't have like a defined game plan, which is pretty kind of strong in general. Like it's make you being less predictable makes you more difficult to read. That is a very natural conclusion, but that just also means that the early game plan that Rimato has to choose is not as secure as one might think, because what can JJ do? JJ can do a lot of things, and
Okay, and Ramata now is electing to go for the short-term payoff of these 11 Delfino Blues, or at least some of them. Um, and this can be a strategy, I feel. Obviously, how do you counter a player that is very unpredictable? You just play for the short term, right? Okay, these are all the cards that I have. You cannot psych me up because, well, I'm living from I'm living one day at a time. You know, I'm living one goal at a time in a way. And I can see Rimato doing this.
mm.
So just here, like hard rushing these 11, like, and then just playing very linearly. And then if you're JJ, you have no room for a wild play at that point. Obviously, it might not be the winning strategy, of course, especially in row control. As Rimato secures this 11, and then opens up Bianco, but decides in pure 100% Rimato fashion to just, well, you know what? Bianco sucks.
Yeah, Bianca is kind of interesting because the only like really relevant goals would be bosses, but that like 5 bosses, 4 uniques, that's kind of a lot. 5 from Bianca is just kind of irrelevant. I guess 7 enemies, but these are both in rows that are kind of not that great outside of that. I guess Bianco free reds for 2 minutes hoverless is
There's also the
possible too.
potential 100 coin shine Bianco free as well. Even though one would think the 100 is a secret, you know, you would do that with Rico if that was ever on your radar. Um, I don't know. Like Bianco is that one world that compared to Serena, right? Where if you go for a play in Serena where it's not the actual correct moment, you know, you lose hard because Serena doesn't offer extra value. You can hard rush Bianco, quote unquote hard rush. Just bear with me for a bit, and still get some value out of it on 99% of the cards. Not
Mm.
doesn't mean it's a good play, but it is very rarely a bad play, and it is quite often a good enough play, which is why it's extremely popular, especially with newer players. Because you can rarely go horribly wrong with just going in Bianco. And JJ is going for blues here, or at least some blues, it seems. Is he targeting maybe a 50 with them? Doesn't look like it.
Mm, yeah, it's probably just some kind of contesting blue coins, and since you didn't get 11 Delfino, even Rimato unlocked Bianco, like got them pretty late. He probably assumes that JJ might not contest blue coins, so I think that is a play for JJ to just like steal that away from an unsuspecting Rimato.
Yeah, it's
That
like I mean, you can hardly assume what JJ is gonna do. So it's just like, all right, you're assuming this. Oh, what?
Yeah, overshot the jump dive in Pachinko. That's something that can happen if you kind of rush it too much. Did it again, but this time in a non-punishing way. That being that this is the one you would be fine with, like over overshooting.
Yeah, Rimato, like, all right, Pachinko, I own you, and the Pachinko machine reminded everybody else of why it's a terrible level. Just, yeah, and you cannot be 100% of Pachinko ever. I feel it's one of those things where, especially if you're in a situation like this where there's nerves involved. I'm not sure if this is JJ's hundreds in a secret, which we could see JJ be like, you know what, I'm gonna get this goal that makes no sense to get in early game, and then delay it for about half an hour. Um, Or maybe this is just a 50. And my dreams of 100 coins in a secret right now is shattered.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, like, Hundreds in a Secret seems kind of pointless since that just puts you behind two. Like, Hundreds in Rico would just be better because Rico will offer you more long term. It has there's better level shines. It has a better to hidden one level access. But like just doing Hundreds in a Secret right now, like that early in Bianco would just not be that great. If like you lose Hundreds in Recall, then you might have a few issues, and the Pheno Rocket nozzle is just so late that now it won't matter.
Alright, but this
Uh,
is a 50.
this is just a 50, which if he is able to steal it away, is probably something that is just like a counterplay to the 8 Athena's 150 play that we could have seen from Rimato, but since it's been a while
Ramasino, yeah.
and Rimato and JJ hasn't shown any Pianta, we see Pianta from yeah, we just see Pianta now because I think JJ's Rimato was just afraid to race JJ in that if it was a
Alright,
race.
and I mean, there's not a lot of people that can make Rimato afraid of a race.
Definitely.
And I understand there's obviously this game one, we're not yet in the do or die situation. Both of these players are like, all right, you know what? It's the first round of a boxing match. If you're stunning your opponent, throwing your light jabs, we're about to say, oh, I'm going to secure these 11 Delfino Blues, just get his early lead. Maybe it's going to psych him out. There's this kind of like semi mind game, semi like actual fighting. But I feel that this series will heat up a bit later on. And who do you think would win on a race for most, like, who has a speed advantage? It's a very hard question, and I'm not sure if there's an answer, actually, but...
I don't think that in most cases like a speed advantage is like I feel like they are of similar enough skill where it's just difficult to compare because it would depend on what shines. It would depend on just a lot of things, and it's mostly about consistency. Like if both of them don't mess up, then I would favor JJ, but not in everything, of course. And then, as mentioned, it just comes about not losing the time that you have.
Okay, so it is virtually, because especially considering consistency and the variance of the situation, it is virtually even. That's what you're saying.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
if it's not even, then it's like just
55
very
45, but it's just almost even. All right, I can see that, and that obviously makes this even more exciting. I wonder if we'll see an aggressive play in game two, especially from the player that's behind. Like, all right, you know what? I kind of need to just go hard now, and maybe just idly contest a card, like a situation where there's a obvious good route at the start. But we'll see. Right now, JG is looking at some blues in Rico. I wonder if
Mhm.
that's going to translate in another 50. Um,
In the
does
150
not seem
Enrico.
to be interested.
Yeah, he avoided a lot of coins in on the crane and everywhere else. So it's just hope the coins, but we'll have to see. Rimato's doing damages, which is kind of interesting because Rimato isn't that well set up for roll 5, so I'm actually interested if he opts to click this or not. I could see it not being clicked just to preserve the information that you have not been in Piata actually, but since he just revealed that, then this is kind of pointless. It also just is better to assert your like your presence in Pianta, so your opponent is less incentivized to go there.
Yeah, so Rimato's putting up this giant ass, just like billboard. All right, Pianta sold, owner Rimato 13. Do not touch this. Well, I wonder what's JJ's reaction gonna be to that. In a way, he's been collecting a lot of blues, and looks, I guess, by the nature of the play, a more well-rounded setup, I guess, for more goals. But this is a strategy that would obviously be more convenient in lockout and other formats than row control. Obviously, needing only uh, is it? It's like barely over 33% of the board to win with row control. It means that you can make more target routes, and we'll see what Rimato's plan is, because as you said, like he diverged early on from the Rimato TM play, and obviously this blue coin lead from JJ is the textbook way to counter it, I would say.
Mm.
So I wonder what Rimato's gonna cook in the northern countries, if he's gonna be able to make a play for the well, for a narrow route basically, or if JJ's more setup oriented plan will work out.
I'll say that JJ has to opt to get 50 tolls soon anyway, because Rimato will just eventually work up towards them, and at one point, if JJ doesn't secure any of the totals, though, it will be too late. So he can't stay for too long in Rico, I would say. He still has to dip into our other levels. He's kind of, it seems like he's further ahead with like 13 blue coins, but
That's not
13
that's
is
much
not
at all.
that much. Yeah, especially because Rimato didn't even enter Rico yet, which is a very, very easy 15 blue coins basically. Avoids the Fire Pianta, which it's not that slow for blue coin. Trades actually to get into Pinner. I forgot that is an option, since 16 in Pinner is also fast enough.
All right, so JJ probably has written off row 4 completely at this point, which I understand. On the other hand, 16 Pina Blues and 11 Delfino Blues are goals that have great synergy with totals and don't take that much time at all to get. So you would probably try to at least contest something, even because if Rimato gets 3 from 4 for free, that is huge, because that's an actual, you know, that's an actual row without that much effort. 2 goals that don't take that much time, and a goal that you can get basically by just making the game plan around it.
I'm trying to think. So if JJ actually doesn't want anything in row 4, he's sacking 16 in Pinner, he has sacked 11 in Delfino. I feel like it's his main incentive or his main strategy in this game is to steal away 50 tolls, 60 tolls without Rimato expecting it at all. 21 minutes. Getting into Pinner is, on this card, possibly not even that late, that early. And that being said, if Rimato wins 16 and 11 in the blue coins, then he just would assume that JJ didn't really contest them, unless they raised. But then JJ would have had multiple ways to like counter this, and I don't think Rimato just thinks that he has been racing JJ the entire time. Like that's just very improbable.
Okay, this is definitely 100s in a secret play here, and that would all but secure. Actually, not really all but secure, but with the given progress that he has in Rico, all but secure row 1. This is JJ saying, all right, row 1, it's this time to put up the billboard saying property of JJ SRL when it comes to row 1, but again, he needs those blues. That's what it's gonna come down to at the end of the day.
Mm.
And
Uh,
I'm wondering then what's the point of getting most of them in one if you're gonna go through the hassle of visiting most locations with blues anyways now.
uh, I would need to think about like what the timings were of the clicks and the information Rimato has revealed, because I feel like that my like just as you mentioned the blue coins earlier for in episode 1 from JJ just like makes it seem like he didn't really plan for this to do it in a secret quite yet. It was kind of like a more spontaneous call. Um, I'm actually not 100% sure, but
All right, I would say the
yeah.
spontaneous call is textbook JJ, but we've already established that there's no textbook JJ, so I cannot really make that claim. Um,
I guess like just spontaneous idea would be a textbook JJ.
yeah, and Rimato in the meantime collects the 16 pin of blues, goes off to enter the cutscene. Rimato's boss situation will be one after this, so definitely not looking at much at the moment. It's still it to me seems like Rimato is like, all right, you know what? 23 minutes have passed. You have not clicked anything. I think it's about time to make the gears turn when it comes to a potential game-winning play with a narrow route, basically.
Mm.
At least that's what I would expect in that situation. Maybe Romano's gonna surprise us, but what are your other options at the moment? Like, okay, I've gotten 3 of the best goals on the card, virtually uncontested. Um, you would be almost called crazy for not going for that play at this point. You need a third row, obviously, but
I'm trying to think like what the current state is. I feel like JJ has a few too many coins for this to be comfortable. Okay, actually, never mind. This is a line of 7. I thought it was a uh line of
I
8.
mean, it is a line of 8 coins. Just one of them is not yellow.
That's true.
If you want to be specific.
Yeah.
JJ
So
doing this without flood.
yeah, doing the triple jump.
Listen, I respect that shit. Most people would not dare to do it without flood in finals of this. But
Mhm.
all right, JJ clicks 50 from 2. Okay, and now if you're Rimato, what do you think that is?
Uh, there are like a few possibilities. I feel like the most natural one would be 8 of Finger Shines with 150. 50 from 2 with like hundreds in Rico can be something that Rimato might think is the case. JJ doesn't go for tolls, and uh,
This
we
is
will
risky.
just
This
see.
is extremely risky.
Yeah, we will see what Rimato thinks of that play, depending on if he tries to secure blue coins right after Pinner 2 or not. I think he forgot the enemy. He wanted the enemy,
I
it
mean,
seems.
it's still wants Rico 4 at this point, so it makes sense. He's also sitting in the 40 coins. He's only 10 away from the blue total blues, but thing is, what's Ramato's 2 hidden reds overless access? Because Ramato could potentially steal this with a Gelato and Pinna.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And control of that row 3 looks increasingly like the basically the battleground for this match, because JJ is putting on the work for row 2 and 1, and Rimato is putting in the work for row 4 and 5, but row 3 in the middle is there's not at all determined at the moment. I mean, Rimato's advantage for the pin a yellow coin blue button, which is going to complete now.
Mm.
JJ opposite advantage for 5 from Bianco. And then you Rimato opposite advantage for Pianta Shadow Mario. And JJ now has access to 2 in red Soverless, and then you have the Fruit Ladies, which are neutral by definition of existing, basically. Uh,
Mm.
so it is very clear that there's this separation now, and we'll see what Rimato does now because it's going to be key. He stays in pin now, so probably not a totals rush at the moment.
Yeah. He doesn't. He's not faced by the hundreds in the secret. I do wonder what Rimato thinks that was from JJ, since hundreds in the secret without revealing hundreds in Rico just doesn't say that it's 100 in Rico. I would at least that's what I would think. But JJ is finishing out totals, and that will probably make Rimato sweat a little bit. But he's set up for 200 hoverless. He has 2 golds in 2 rows, which is kind of pretty scary generally. But then
Yeah,
if you calculate this a little bit more, JJ has bosses. JJ has
exactly.
an advantage in bosses. Has an advantage in row 2 for the 7 enemies and when he gets 50 totals, and level shines 100 in Rico. This is actually already pretty dicey for Rimato.
All right, because like, okay, JJ's has just taken what I've said, and it's like he's like, yeah, okay, if I don't get row 3, row 5 seems like the way to go, right? And can JJ finish 50 here? Probably he can, considering he did not go outside of, he did not go in the windmill area for blues, and he probably wants the enemies from here. But he's also investing. Okay, he just gets 1 red coin, and then just people leaves for to finish the blues.
Yeah, he needs to finish out 5 blue coins, but then the issue is that Rimato needs like 15, so he can finish them out in Gelato, which is very,
JJ
very
takes
scary. If Rimato actually, like, Rimato has to make the call to not go for 200 hoverless right now just to secure totals, and then he should be in a better spot. He can get to 60 totals in Gelato. And
here's what I said comes into play, because as I said, like, one of the ways to counter a very setup oriented player is just to, well, you know what, I'm just not gonna set up goal to goal to goal to goal, and this is what Rimato is kind of doing here, right? The blues he's collected are overwhelmingly part of goals at the end of the day, and JJ's taking advantage of this, I feel, whether it's like intended or not, because now he's gonna get this 50. I don't think he's gonna delay this.
Yeah.
Not at all. And Rimato gets the 2 within red Soverless, but then suddenly the implication is, row 5 is not looking very good after this.
Yeah,
I wonder what's JJ's reaction now. Probably wants to do 3 reds anyways, simply because it's still a Bianco Shine at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's hidden red hoverless, and he might not be expecting Rimato to get it. Rimato clicks this, and JJ might exit area, might think that Bianco is worthless right now. Seems not to. This decision by JJ might cost him, because Rimato can just re-enter Gelato, get to 60 totals, and then suddenly he's back in the lead.
But can he? Like, that's the thing. Like,
yeah, he must, like, he traded in. Oh, I think he traded in only 20, right?
He traded in 20 blue coins, indeed. Yes, that is the case.
So he should be at 36. No, wait. Oh, I think I always thought Rimato traded 30. Dang, if that's the
Rimato
case.
did trade only 20. 20 blue coins were traded by Rimato to access Pinna.
Oh, that is. Then 60 totals suddenly not that likely, but if Rimato opts to go for a Wiggler, then that already ties up for 4 uniques.
Yeah, but the problem is JJ has the advantage in total bosses, and JJ hasn't done mecha yet. So, okay, JJ wants to trade, but then changes his mind and decides to go for.
Oh, he didn't unlock Gelato.
Realizes that opening Gelato might be a good way to then get the Pinna.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And also, he kind of gets the 7th enemy, so that's probably the best way to access Pinna at this point. He just secures that row 2. But decides not to. Okay. Probably not in danger. And this is faster, so makes sense. It's also Delfino Shine over Level Shine. Not sure about that factors in his calculations, but...
So unique bosses is now the very hard goal because if Rimato gets Wiggler, 4 from Gelato will be his, and both of them are at 2 uniques, and Rimato will only need Bianco and Rico 1. JJ has 2 unique bosses already, but one of the faster ones in Rico 1, or a little bit faster. They're not that significant, but it's still something. And on a similar note, JJ still has to unlock Pinna, which also takes a little bit of time.
And Mecha is not the fastest boss ever. Let's be real here. JJ looking for honey skip now, or no? No, he's what was JJ thinking? All right, JJ's thinking of 1 more blue coins, which is a respectable take. And then I want to skip this blue coin text box, which again, respectable take. But the thing is, Rimato is still at 2, right? So he would need to go for Bianco, and he would need to go for
Rico 1.
For Rico 1. JJ after this only needs Manta.
Yeah, but this is not as, this is still pretty close. I would think that Rimato finishes out the Wiggler at when JJ talks to the Pinner guy. Maybe even maybe even earlier, because JJ will opt to finish out totals, because that's something he's still afraid of.
That is fair. Total game might come into play. And at that point, obviously Rimato secures that row 3, because he only needs 4 uniques, he does not need 5 bosses. The 4 from Gelato just comes integrally with his play. And yeah, that's fair. Like, JJ needs to make the call that Rimato is not going to secure it with 60 totals. And it is a reasonable call to make. Like, there is a universe in which JJ makes that call, right? But it seems we don't live in the timeline.
Rimato clicks off 4 from Gelato, and if you're a JJ...
Now the gears should start turning.
Yeah, if you're JJ, it's kind of weird, because you don't know for sure if it's a Wiggler or if it's the Sand Hidden. The Sand Hidden is not that much faster than Wiggler, to be fair. It's like 40 seconds, and Wiggler would also set up for 4 uniques. So if you think it's Sand Hidden, then you think it's close to 60 totals. If you think it's Wiggler, then it's unique bosses, and Rimato seems to have got the NPC, maybe Rodson like a very few blue coins just in case, but JJ is going for this linked blue coin, which I thought he had better blue coin access. Apparently
yeah, maybe yeah, he does. There's still the Pinite platform blue coin.
Oh,
so maybe a bit of nerves from JJ. He decides to enter the boss fight. So they're both trying the boss fight for their 3rd boss. Problem is, Rimato has PT, JJ has Manta left. So, on paper, this is Rimato's, right?
Yeah, definitely. That being said, does JJ have like any realistic way to work around this? And the answer is he's very far behind in Pianta.
Yes, so Pianta here being the saving grace. Remember that sign that Rimato posted in Pianta? Yeah, that's gonna come real handy in a second if JJ is able to steal this, because yeah, that's finish land today, and it might end up costing JJ the game. So Rimato collects the shine. JJ is about to collect the shine. Now, what's the time delta between Manta and PT?
Let's see. You can go for the Shine Get time comparison, but the issue is the Shine Get, like the ILs, don't include the PD cutscene, the loading time. Rimado's ahead, and JJ doesn't save up, which is, I think, very important. Would have been very important to secure Manta. The Manta IL is, of course, RNG dependent. It also has text boxes, so it's like it's kind of a close
struggling
call.
a bit whenever. might be the nail in the coffin here, honestly.
Mm.
And you were mentioning, right? Like Rimato after this just pretty much just needs to go to Pianta, right? If he gets his fourth unique, which he should, then he could just straight up go to Pianta and be done with it.
Yeah, the kind of interesting thing would be if Mado thought that it was like possibly like JJ might have had some like sneaky Pianta progress, and then it could be kind of scary. But then you would maybe just rush Hidden in Pianta, and then like do Fruit Ladies, or you would have like a lot of options for 3 from 4 with EL, and then you can just go for Pianta Shell Mario.
See, but this is the issue then. If you're JJ, you need to defend 2 rows, which still have 3 options open. Like, how do you defend that? I mean, to be fair, you only need to defend 1, technically speaking. But Rimato could just as easily try at that point, row 1. Honestly, Rimato is technically advantaged for all of those goals, besides Sudan in one level. But, you know, it would be extremely hard to defend all of this. And JJ should exit area immediately, obviously, on Shanget. This was not... I mean, this was about 40 seconds of immediate exit area. Rimato secures row 5, despite JJ stealing the total blues. And yeah, and those spin the blues might have costed JJ the actual goal.
Yeah, it's just difficult to make the call. Rimato doesn't even care about clicking for 12 level shines. I think he should have it with 4 from Gelato, 3 from Penna, 3 from he counted, he remembered.
Rimastino counts. And
Yeah,
he knows that can matter. You know, that can matter because JJ's like, all right, maybe if I get this for free because I didn't count, I feel like, you know, could be the first step to an upset. But at the end of the day, that's Rimato. You just don't simply upset Rimato. At least not easily.
Yeah. Unless Rimato decides to first do Pianta Shell Mario and then the hidden in Pianta, then
Still probably not sure if that's gonna.
Okay, JJ just needs to win hidden in Pianta. How he does it, we don't know. It's basically on Rimato to just win the game, to close out the game.
Yes.
Then, if JJ wins hidden in Pianta, 3 from 4 is kind of interesting. Both of them have 3 in 3, but Rimato has like Rico 2 and Rico 3 left, while JJ would have to do Pinna 2, Pinna 3.
May I interject with Noki for that? It might seem like a smart idea to just combine Noki.
Yeah, but then that just requires Rimato to do the same kind of 50-50.
Yeah, okay, I was just mentioning that play opposite for JJ because being the player behind, Rimato does not need EL and 3 from 4, but as JJ, it's obviously a play you think about at that point. And Noki isn't particularly slow as a level, in fact, it's relatively fast. Faster than Pinna 2 and 3? No. But with some creative delaying, I can see that winning. Oh, Rimato misses Yoshi skip. Luckily, does not plummet to the abyss. Bit of nerves maybe here. Wanted to take it super safe. And gets in. JJ in the meantime waits the 13 longest second of his life, probably. Now, JJ has Noki access, or almost has Noki access, which is trade. What's Rimato's shine count at the moment? At least 12, obviously. Probably has enough combined shines and blues. And this is like early cycle, so...
Early cycle, this helps. I think Rimato can even first do Pianta Shell Mario and then hidden Pianta and might win. Both.
Right, we'll see because actually, isn't JJ just better off playing for Pianta Shadow Mario? Because row 3 sounds like much more contestable for JJ. Oh,
Mm.
and that does not help at all. Misses the momentum spin jump there. Goes for it a second time. Makes it through.
Yeah.
It damaged less strat. PogChamp man. Oh, JJ. That was extremely close. Might not mattering in the end, but that was extremely close.
Yeah. And we see Rimato going into Pianta Hidden. I think that row 3, if JJ somehow has Pianta Shell Mario, is just easier to secure than row 4. But Rimato is just like making sure he just wins the game. And if he somehow just dies a ton of times, which is very,
I
very
mean, he just needs one, technically speaking, for Shadow Mario to be even. I guess. Assuming
mm,
Rimato stays in 5 reds.
no, not even, not even.
4 is not that slow.
It's
Like, if he
still
dies
a little
now.
funky. If he dies now, then still.
Oh yeah, no, okay. I was just thinking about like entry into Pianta 5, and okay, that makes sense.
Mm.
So yeah, it's definitely you would need Rimato to, you know, not being Rimato, not being the player that's like, all right, this game matters, I gotta bank it, and then he banks it. You know, you would need that. But I'm not sure if we've ever seen Rimato not do it. Oh, okay, JJ still makes it.
But yeah,
And
Rimato.
Pianta is clicked, and Rimato just goes for the fruit ladies.
Yeah, uh, just making really, really sure that he wins the game, because like JJ would need to have delayed for free fruities for a while.
Okay, let's see if JJ like picks it up. No, I'm pretty sure
It's
that's a move that's like readable, but at the same time, you know, you're giving up a Pianta advantage that you know you have at that point. It's like, dude, will you really make that? It's a hard play to understand from the mindset of the player that's behind your Pianta. You know, you
yeah,
don't
just
expect this.
yeah. The way for Rimato to lose free fruit ladies is if JJ like did this a long time ago and delays this for an eternity,
No.
and just like magically clicks this off. But JJ even adding having insult added to injury.
Oh, and I'm afraid the injury actually comes at the very end of the day. So that's yeah. JJ with this loses the match 100%, unless Ramato's connection crashes or something. So
Yeah,
I can already hear I can already hear out of the community like the team JJ like starting to try to DDoS Rimato. So,
I feel like if it came down to something like that, we would probably just award the win to Rimato anyway. Like
yeah, that's fair.
that's like no way that Rimato like doesn't dunk in these Durans from this spot on. But yeah, this at the end the 4 uniques call from Rimato was actually very strong. Ended up getting 4 from Gelato,
Yep.
and JJ went for blue coins, and while Rimato ignored them completely in Rico, which is kind of difficult to just ignore blue coins in Rico.
Yeah, and those that 60 totals call from JJ ended up missing the mark. If JJ had gotten 4 uniques, that game would have turned really ugly really fast for Rimato. Like
Definitely.
it was 4, it was a call away from a JJ win, which is really insane. And we expect nothing less from these two players. So, well, congratulations on Mr. Rimastino for the win, and
JJ
hi
joined.
JJ.
I whatever. Welcome, JJ. Interesting game. There were a lot of very good calls, but at the end, the four unique slots just kind of came down to 50-50. Uh, how did you plan to do like the 50 tolls, 60 tolls steal from the get-go, like sacking 11 Delfinos, sacking 16 Pinner, or was that just something that you came up on the fly?
Apparently, we'll never know the answer to the question.
Yeah, JJ says that his mic is not
Okay,
working.
okay.
So
JG pulling a Rimato here, first doing backup, now mic not working. Look, JG, I see what you're doing here. All right, I see what you're doing here. I don't believe for a second. You don't believe for a second. I'm not seeing what you're doing here. All right, I respect that. Okay.
Okay, so but yeah,
What?
congrats,
Am I
Rimato.
working? There we go.
Oh yes,
Not pulling a
works.
Rimato.
Ah, man.
But yeah, you said you wanted 50 and 60, and you probably like gave up on row 4 from the very beginning, right?
Yeah, I had like I starred 16 Pinot, 11 Delfino, and 3 from 4. That was like I was gonna do Bianco 2, and then 11 Delfino, like assuming Rimato went for like Pianta 3 damageless. But then I collected 11 Delfinos, and I didn't feel like there was much worth in going for row 4 at all.
Mm.
I think of what else. I knew I wanted row 1 and row 2, because as soon as you clicked 11 Delfino and 3 damageless, I knew I had row 1 and row 2 basically. Like lockdown. Because
Yeah,
I just had Rico progression.
yeah. I kind of want to ask you if you like how you felt about doing 50 from 2 with like Rico 4, because one thing that could have been pretty scary and just lose row 2 immediately would just be 150 with a few Delfino shines, because that would just suggest Goldbird's progress a bit more because of Delfino shines and
I
them
think
being
from
pretty
2 is
fast.
like weird because I kind of just like realized like it was there while I was doing Bianco Blues, and I'm like, oh, I'll just get this real quick. So I got that, and then when I got to Rico, I could have done it in Rico 1, and like it would have been fine. I don't know why I waited till 4, to be completely honest. I think it was just I was hard focused on Rico 100 and a secret that I just like didn't really think about doing 50 from 2 another time.
Mm,
Like I kind of clicked
mm,
it off at a weird point because I clicked it like when the shine was spawning. So I'm like, oh wait, I do have 50 from 2 now, so I just clicked it.
mm. Interesting. Yeah. Um, it, the main thing about this game was
For
the
uniques.
for uniques.
Yeah.
So I just assume like when you saw Fall from Gelato, what did you think the Fall from Gelato were? Did you think like
I knew he
with
had
that
a unique. I knew he had a unique in 4 from Gelato. There's no way that he didn't. Like with row 5 just being a thing on this card with 4 or 5 bosses.
yeah.
Like which had to be his fourth.
What
Okay.
so what like the I guess last question before we go to Rimato would be like you called to finish out 60 tolls. Unfortunately, made this at least not as close. It could have been. It might have been yours if you just like kind of ignored them. But so, what did you think? How many blues Rimato had at that point?
Colorado had like at least 40 at that point. Like that's what I was feeling. He was at least 40 and he could enter one stage and finish off 60. That was the thing that was like on my mind that I was worried
Mm,
about.
mm,
So that's why I wanted to do 60. And I didn't know how many uniques yet because I knew he had 2. And I also had 2, but I didn't know. Yeah, now I think about it, it's just I should have done 4 uniques because I thought I had that. And then I realized I didn't.
mm,
They started counting, and I'm like, oh, I'm on my 3rd right now when he clicked 4 from Gelada, so I should be good for 4 uniques. And then all of a sudden, I have Mecha and Manta, and he had to do what I'm assuming is like Bianco Rico.
mm.
That would be correct. That would be a correct assumption. All right. So I'm gonna do the text-to-speech bot. We have not had a accent vote today for my Rimato text-to-speech bot, so I'll just go with normal Elias vote. For next time, remember, just go on Twitter and vote. No, there's no such thing. But we could make it a thing if you want. If this picks up, I can read Rimato in like the South Alabama accent. That would be fun. But for now, Rimato's saying, man, that early game was stressful. I was just playing time to see if JJ went for Pianta free, which we kind of expected the delay for the Pianta start. And then he ended up not revealing anything for like 25 minutes, which by now is, if there is a textbook JJ, it's textbook JJ. I don't think there's a textbook JJ, but that's what it is. And thought both Bianco, Turico, and Pianta stars were strong, so it was fine with either. And that's pretty much the case. At the end of the day, you went for that game could have ended in both ways, so makes 100% sense. Asking if Rico Hundreds was in a secret, which it was. And Rimato was confident row 3 was a contested row, so the row 2 play caught him off guard, which makes 100% sense because we had the situation in mid game where it was like, okay, JJ has rows 1 and 2. Rimato has rows 4 and 5. And row 3 is the contested one at that point because we were even like 2 goals advantage Rimato, 2 goals advantage JJ, and Fruit Ladies, which it is what it is. But then JJ tried to go for the row 5 steal, which would have worked if the goal prioritization was a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But that at the end of the day was a really close match, and I'm not sure why row 2 play caught Rimato off guard, because at least, I mean, obviously from our point of view, that was the row that you were going for, JJ. It was clear, right? But
That
Rimato
was,
was not
I
taking
thought
it
row
off.
2 is like a basic Bianca Rico because you have 7 enemies and 50 from 2 at that point, and then totals.
Maybe it's a
Right.
typo from Rimato. Okay,
Mm.
he thought JJ would give up on blues when he showed heavy intent on going for them. But as like, if you think JJ would give up on something, JJ's gonna do it. That's my understanding on how that the games go. So
Whenever I play Rimato, I'm not backing down on blues, alright? Like, people say that Rimato's like gonna dominate blues, but I am gonna hold my ground on the blues. I want to try my best to make sure I can at least contest them with blues. And this time I was able to get the blues, but it ended up like costing me the 4 uniques, like you said. But it's how it goes.
Yeah, it's definitely a 50-50 that's just like difficult to go for. Rimato mentioned that he was thinking of 60 total steal towards the end, but then JJ clicked 7 enemies and gave up on Rimato, and Rimato gave up on that.
Okay, that makes
He
sense.
intended to go to Rico to get 20 more to finish them off, and he also then thought that since you delayed totals in your game versus SM for a long time, he was
I,
also kind of I don't know. That's what
oh,
he
I
said.
probably, no, I pseudo delayed it because like I just like never finished them off.
Oh yeah, and then Rimato just thought that this would be safe, or that 4 uniques would be safer than. Wait, no, never mind. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Since JJ, you like pseudo delayed totals for a long time, Rimato thought that might be safer than uniques.
okay, I presume that the like quote unquote correct play, obviously Onset is in this case more than 2020, but presume the correct play for JJ at that point would have been to try to finish 60 with the free Serena Blues.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But and maybe not click 7 enemies, so Rimato goes for. But you know, at that point, it's like, okay, like, how am I supposed to know? Clearly, it's one of those calls that you cannot make unless you have the Giga Galaxy brain in that day. You cannot make that call without seeing the match.
Yeah,
So
that's
I think I was mainly upset about the 2 hit him red steal, or not really a steal, but like I wanted row 3 with like 5 Bianco, 2 hit him reds, 3 fruit ladies. That's what I wanted, and then he clicked off 2 hit him reds, so I had to like give up on that.
that makes sense.
I and again, it was the exact same thing. I prioritized 50 way too much, so he ended up just getting the hoverless or red hoverless.
Yeah, obviously, row control is that game, right? You have like 5 scales that you need to balance, right? You need to put chips on, but you have a limited amount of chips. So at the end of the day, you just need to outweigh your opponent only in 3 of them. And then Rimato did say, like, he had 12 levels Rico Hundo, Delfino Rocket, Wincon in mind if he had lost uniques, but that would have not worked out because they're already done Rico Hundo.
Yeah.
And, well, that kind of falls apart at that point because, well, to win in Challenge in 1 level is just a formality for you at that point. You just need to do Rico 2 again. So it was honestly, it was a really, really close game, and you
Feel like
both
that
played really well.
Yeah, I feel like I delayed my whole 100 thing really well. Like the timings of like collecting 50, then collecting the 100 as a secret, and then just holding Rico 100.
Yeah,
Mm.
the fact that Rimato did say Rico Anderson Secret being Rico made the most sense, but again, with Bianco on the card, and
Yeah.
50 from 2 being a thing, like, it's not that unfeasible. Like we thought, like you could have finished that 50 coins in Bianco, make it 100 in a secret at that point.
Mhm.
It could have worked out. So it wasn't a guarantee at all, and yeah, it ended up turning out like making me like, obviously if you have to have a plan B or C, you're not gonna work out the math to make it 100% safe, and that meant that it was a backup win con, which would have not worked. So that delay was really smart, and it's kind of becoming a bit of a trademark in that sense. Like early goal, delay, boom, it's 30 minutes. Oh, by the way, I have this, which works out very well. But I don't think we have that much more to add. Do you have any more questions, Larby?
I do not actually.
Okay.
I think JJ and Rimal, you play like in the next match, right? So
Yeah, I'm ready to, if possible, we could start sooner rather than like the desired time
yeah,
slot.
yeah. So Rimaldo needs a format to know.
And you prefer a bit of a break, so we're gonna let
Yeah.
that be decided. I'm not sure who's gonna have like.
Yeah, we will have at least 15 minutes because JJ didn't reveal the format yet. I don't know if you want to
That
do
is
an
fair.
interview right after.
Uh, I'm
JJ,
deciding between 2 right now.
drop. All right, so you,
Okay,
you want you. Sorry, Larvi. What were you saying?
then Rimaldo has a little bit more of break time if you're still thinking about this. I think we will announce it later or something.
Yeah,
Or
I think
PK will.
legally speaking, you have to declare the format at least 15 minutes before the match. So by the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
okay, you're right. I'll pick it. Let's do draft. Let's do it.
All right, Pog. Draft
Draft
JJ
decision.
versus Rimato is spicy indeed.
Mm.
And now we have a format, and I think we can wrap this up at least as far as as far as me and Larvi are concerned. Match 2 is going to be commentated by Mr. Jeff Compass and Lego. I hope you had a wonderful time in this first match. I personally thought it was really enjoyable. And stay tuned for game 2 of this series. We'll see if Rimato can clutch out the $150, euros, whichever currency the prize pool is in, or if
Da-
JJ can tie this series and send it to game 3 for a nail biter of a finale. Stay tuned.